Welcome to the STEM Tutor channel. Today we're going to be solving four hard problems from each content domain for the SAT math portion. The first problem deals with algebra, which says that the movie theater sells two types of tickets, and the adult tickets are $12 and child tickets are $8, and the total number of tickets sold by the theater is 30, and the total dollar amount is 300, and we have to find how much in dollars was spent on the adult tickets. Okay, so the dollar amount on adult tickets. Let's call A is the total number of adult tickets, and C is the total number of child tickets. Okay, so we will get two equations. The first equation deals with the dollar amount, which is just going to be 12 times A plus 8 times C is going to be equal to 300. And the total number of tickets is 30, so we'll get A plus C is going to be equal to 30. Okay. The best way to move forward here is to get rid of one of the variables, either A or C. Since we need the dollar amount spent on A, we will keep A and we'll try to get rid of C. And the way to get rid of C is multiplying the bottom equation by -8 and then adding that. So we will get 12A plus 8C is going to be 300. So the same first equation. And then we'll get minus 8A minus 8C is going to be equal to -240. Okay. 12A minus 8A is 4A. And 8C minus 8C is just 0. And 4A is just going to be equal to 300 minus 240, which is going to be 60. So from this, we get A equals 60 over 4, which is 15. And so that's the total number of adult tickets that were sold. And we need to find the dollar amount spent on the adult tickets. So the dollar on adult tickets is going to be equal to 12A, which is 12 times 15, which is going to be equal to 180. Okay, so the answer is 180. The next problem deals with the nonlinear functions, which is part of the advanced math portion. We're given a function f of x equals x plus 3 times x plus 1, which is a parabola. And we have to find which of the following intervals contains the x-coordinate of the vertex of the graph of f. Okay, let's get started. So first we need to figure out what a vertex is. So the vertex of a parabola is the minimum or maximum point of a parabola. That's the vertex. And which is going to be whether it's going to be the minimum or the maximum point depends on the coefficient in terms in front of the x squared term. Okay, so here f of x is going to be equal to x plus 3 times x plus 1. Let's expand this one and we'll get x squared plus 3x plus x plus 3, which is going to be equal to x squared plus 4x plus 3. Okay, so you can see that the coefficient in terms of in front of x squared is positive. So the vertex is going to be the minimum of the parabola. Okay, so our parabola is going to look something like this. Okay, and so this point here is the vertex. Okay, so in order to find what point this vertex is going to be between, we have to find the zeros of the function. Okay, and it's very easy to find the zeros or the solution or the roots of the function, since we are already given it in a nice and clear form. So since f of x is x plus 3 times x plus 1, we just make it equal to 0 to find the zeros or the x-intercept. And so x is going to be equal to -3, or the x is going to be equal to -1. So this point is going to be -3 comma 0, and then this point is going to be equal to -1 comma 0, right? And so the vertex is going to be in between these 2 points, and it's going to be right in between these 2 points. So the x coordinate of vertex is going to be equal to, the midway point is just going to be -3 minus 1 divided by 2, which is going to be equal to -4/2, which is going to be equal to -2, right? So the x coordinate here is going to be equal to -2. Now the only option where -2 is part of the interval is going to be option B. Another way to find the vertex, x coordinate of the vertex, is by knowing that the quadratic formula x squared ax squared plus bx plus c is the quadratic equation here, which is going to be equal to x squared plus 4x plus 3. And so a is going to be 1, b is going to be equal to 4, and c is going to be equal to 3. And the coordinate, the x coordinate of vertex is actually equal to -b/2a. Okay, and so b in this, -b is in this case is -4, and 2a is just 2, and so the vertex, the x coordinate of the vertex is going to be -2, which again is part of the interval -3 is less than x is less than 1. Our third problem deals with circles, which is part of the geometry and trigonometry portion. Here we're given a circle with a center at point O, and the measure of angle OAB is 30 degrees. And if the length of OC, which is the radius, is 18 degrees, what is the length of arc AB? Okay, so we're given that OAB, which is this angle here, is 30 degrees. We can see that line segment OA is the radius of the circle, and so is line segment OB. So the triangle OAB will have 2 angles which are going to be the same, and the angles opposite to the same sides will be equal. Okay, so this angle OBA is going to be 30 degrees as well. Okay, so we had angle OAB was 30 degrees. We also had OA is equal to OB, which means that angle OBA is equal to angle OAB, which is going to be equal to 30 degrees as well. And so when we look at the triangle OAB, the only angle that's left is going to be AOB, So we have OAB plus OBA plus AOB is going to be equal to 180 degrees. Since these are the three angles making up a triangle. So angle AOB is going to be equal to 180 minus 30, which is going to be equal to 120 degrees. Okay. This 120 degrees, we have to convert into radians. And so the formula for converting degrees to radians is the angle in degrees times pi over 180. Okay. And so this will become, this is 3. 60 is the common factor between 120 and 180. And this becomes 3 and this becomes 2. So the angle in radians is 2 pi over 3. Now the arc length S of AB is just going to be equal to the radius R times the angle in radians, so which is 2 pi over 3. The radius is 18, which is the length of OC. So we will substitute this 18 times 2 pi over 3. Here we'll get 1, and then this is 6. So the arc length of AB is going to be equal to 12 pi, which is option B. The final problem deals with the ratios, rates, proportions, and units portion of the problem solving and data analysis. Here we're given a problem where Anita is creating a batch of green paint by mixing 2 ounces of blue paint with 3 ounces of yellow paint. She must mix a second batch using the same ratio of blue and yellow paint as the first batch. If she uses 6 ounces of blue paint for the second batch, how much yellow paint should Anita use? So if Y is the yellow paint amount and B is the blue paint amount, we can find the ratio of Y is to B, or Y over B, which is going to be equal to the 3 ounces of yellow paint by the 2 ounces of blue paint. And if we multiply both sides by B, we will get Y is going to be equal to 3/2 B. Okay. So the question is asking if she uses 5 ounces of blue paint for the second batch, how much yellow paint should Anita use? So the amount of paint that Anita would use is just going to be 3/2 times the blue paint that she uses. So let's look at the options. So A is incorrect because it would be 3/2 or 1.5 times the blue paint. So A is incorrect. 3 ounces of more than the amount of yellow paint used in the first batch, which is also incorrect because it's a proportional problem, not just adding 3 ounces itself. C is 1.5 times the amount of yellow paint used in the first batch, which is also incorrect because our formula here relates the yellow paint to the blue paint, not the yellow paint to the initial yellow paint. So C is incorrect also. And D is 1.5 times the amount of blue paint used in the second batch, which is correct because 3 halves is just 1.5. So this one is correct. So the amount of yellow paint used is going to be 1.5 times the amount of blue paint used in the second batch. So D is our correct answer.